Hi, so I got asked the other day, what are 3 ways that a life coach can use magic in their coaching business, even though they're not like professionals? Like, I consider myself to be an intuitive astrologer. I feel really comfortable talking to people about their charts. I've been doing it for decades, so it's not a problem for me. But a lot of people love magical tools like astrology and tarot, but they don't know how to do it 100%. And they aren't necessarily interested in taking a deep dive and learning those things, but they feel drawn to them. Well, I believe that you can use these tools if you know how to use them wisely and if you stay in your lane. So I have 3 tips for how to use magic in your coaching business from where you are without having to become like the expert in woo-woo, but you can use these tools to your benefit. So the number one thing is, find a woo-woo tool that you actually really love. For example, I love astrology, but I adore tarot cards. So I use astrology all the time. I use it in my regular life. And tarot cards, it's the same thing. For astrology, it's much more complex than tarot. So I recommend that if you love astrology, you learn, number one, you start learning about your own sign and applying that. And then you start learning about the signs, the sun sign of the people that are closest to you that you can start to understand and get firsthand knowledge. Now, honestly speaking, if I didn't know enough about astrology, I would not start with astrology in my coaching business. I see a lot of people try to do that because they just have so much love for astrology about their own sign, around their own sign. That's what they know. But unless you are going to be working with only your sign and people that, have your exact astrological makeup, then you're probably going to be struggling, and you don't want to mislead people. And you also don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to learn so much about astrology in your coaching business. Okay, so that's tip number 1. Oh, no, I'm not finished with tip number 1. Tip number 1 is to find the magical thing that you actually love that you can use and apply to other people. Tarot cards are something that you can use for yourself, learn them very intimately, and then apply them to other people very easily. So the way to start with this is to get your own tarot cards or oracle cards and start using them as your communication tool with your spirit guides. And then once you've gotten very comfortable with using them for yourself, do readings for other people or use them to help you get more guidance around the people that you want to work with. And again, the key here is to stay in your lane. If you are not accustomed to reading cards for people, don't try to do a 12 card spread, okay? 12 card spread is complicated, it's deep, there are a lot of moving parts, all right? So start with 1 card. If you're in a session with a person and they feel stuck and you aren't clear about how to help them, take 1 card, read it yourself, tune it into your heart, and use that 1 card to help guide you. Don't try to do an entire spread. Don't even try to do 3 cards. 3 cards can be also it involves being very, very present. And if you're not completely comfortable with tarot, then, and especially applying what you know about tarot to other people, you can become overwhelmed. So just don't do it. Do 1 card at a time. So my first tip, I'm still on my first tip, y'all, and this is going to go quick. So my first tip is to really find your magical tool. use it for yourself and get really, really versed in it, and then start to apply it to other people. Also, keep it very, very simple. All right, my next tool that people don't really think about so much as magical, but I think it's completely magical, at least it feels that way, is manifestation. So we are all master manifestors, whether we know it or not. As a life coach, if you focus on your particular method of manifestation and you start to articulate it, or you start to bring it into a process, then you will enjoy using that process in your coaching practice. So for me, for example, I have a 10-step manifestation process, and I take my clients through that when the time is right during our coaching work. So using manifestation as a tool is an amazing way for you to feel like you are working with the energies of the universe. There are lots of really practical aspects to your manifestation process, but it's an opportunity to bring in the magical things. For example, you can bring in meditation, you can bring in music, you can bring in healing stones, you can bring in essential oils and integrate those as a part of your manifestation process, and it will add that very magical feel. You can also use things like tarot or astrology during your manifestation process if you want to bring even more kind of more sophisticated tools of magic into your manifestation process. All right, my third tip is alchemy. Now, this is my favorite because this is where the magic gets very, very serious. Alchemy is a process of helping a person burn up their kind of old, outdated patterns, outdated ways of thinking, outdated beliefs, old roles that they used to play, old relationships. So alchemy is a way of kind of burning those things up and then bringing in new ways of being into their life so that they are experiencing a complete transformation. I love alchemy especially because of that first part. This area this period where you are actually burning up the old self. It's like burning up the old ego. And I don't want to try to make it seem like we're being aggressive toward the ego, but it's really about a process of allowing the self to die, allowing us to die to our old ways of thinking, old ways of believing, old ways of being, old habits. Letting that stuff die, it goes down in the flame, and then what's left is the true nature of the person. So then you get to bring that true nature out into the world, and it's not enough just to glimpse that true nature, which is what we do very often. We'll have a glimpse of our light inside, but then how do we bring that light into everything that we do? How do we bring it into our relationships? How do we bring it into our work? How do we bring it into our exercise? How do we bring that light into the foods that we're choosing to eat, right? So this is where being an alchemy coach or being a person who works with alchemy can actually help you, or it's a great way to bring this very powerful, magical, spiritual, ethereal work into your coaching business. All right, I hope this was helpful. And I look forward to taking a deeper dive into this with you in some coming videos. All right, I'll go ahead and sign off now. Bye, guys. See you later.